Producers, are you sending beats out without getting paid up front? Are you sending beats out without issuing paperwork right off the bat? Are you even having conversations with rappers without getting paid by them? Are you even looking in rappers' directions without signing agreements first? Are you even following rappers on Twitter without them sending you in advance for the beats you might send them years from now? All right, I'm just playing. Don't be a fool. This is something we gotta address. Let's talk. So there was a tweet that was sent out by a rapper by the name of Lil Keys saying, send beats if you got dope beats. It's something to that effect. You know, a lot of rappers ask for beats on Twitter. Sometimes it's a good opportunity. Most of the time, by the time you send the beat out, their inbox is completely flooded and it gets bounced right back to you. You used to hate that. But then someone replied by saying, make sure you're getting your money up front from these rappers. Royce Got Bars, I believe is his username. And then it became a whole conversation where producers were sharing advice on how to avoid getting your beats stolen, because that's this major point of paranoia in the producer community, especially with the internet, sending beats out, uploading beats to YouTube, licensing beats online, sending beats to labels, A&Rs, managers. And the two most popular ideas for producers that were presented as ways to prevent getting your beats stolen when sending them out to rappers were sending heavily tagged beats and only sending out short snippets of the beats. And I know the suggestion was to send out heavily tagged short snippets. I feel like we just have the same conversations over and over again sometimes in the producer community. I'll level with you. Rappers steal beats. As I scripted this video, I had a rapper rip my beat off of YouTube, file copyright claims against my channel, and try to monetize a beat that he didn't pay for. And that was a low quality tagged MP3 mix. But guess what this situation didn't do? Ruin my day. Guess what it also didn't do? Ruin my career. And there's this crazy contradiction in the producer community that we need to face head on. On the one hand, we want to get placements with big artists and we want to sell beats online. Maybe one or the other, maybe both. But on the other hand, we're so paranoid that our beats are gonna get stolen and used without us receiving compensation or credit that we do everything in our power to make it harder for recording artists to use our beats. I mean, maybe you've done some of these things yourself. I wrote them down. There are 3 points. Number 1, we don't send out, play, or release beats anywhere, period, because we're trying to figure out some foolproof way to eliminate the possibility of our beats being ripped, stolen, used, recreated, recorded to, and monetized. And there's just no way to prevent that. I mean, look at someone like Drake. He's still getting his audio, his albums bootlegged, ripped. If he can't stop it, you can't stop it. Shoplifting happens at retail stores. All the Targets didn't shut down just because there were shoplifters. Number 2, we send out or upload short little low quality snippets of our beats that don't really give recording artists a chance to fall in love with our beats, so they just pass on them. Trust me, this happens. When inspiration strikes, time is of the essence. A rapper, especially a major artist, probably isn't gonna chase you down and wait for you to respond to an email they sent asking for an extended version of a 30-second snippet. And if they do ask for the full version and you send it, they might be out of the studio and back on tour or something by that point, and there goes a potential placement. And because there are thousands of good producers out there with full high-quality beats available for artists to listen to and record to, we end up getting skipped if we do this. Number 3. We tag the hell out of our beats to protect ourselves. Trust me, people record over tagged beats. But beyond that, let's consider something else. Say a guitarist sends you a crazy loop. You're ready to add some keys to it, but every time you're about to get into the zone and play, you hear their tag interrupting your creative process. It distracts from everything you add to the beat. You either give up entirely or you end up disliking the beat because you don't even know if the guitarist is gonna eventually send you the untagged version. And you don't know them well enough to predict their behavior. They sent you a random email. You don't know them personally, and it's clear that they don't trust you to begin with because they're sending you a tagged version of a guitar loop. That's what rappers are going through when you send them these snippets of beats, and you expect them to do all of the extra work to make sure that you get paid for that beat in a way that is completely disruptive for their creative process. And listen, all the beats that I upload, virtually all of them are now free downloads. No, these free downloads don't come with commercial rights or licenses. No, they're not WAV files. No, they're not stems. And yeah, they have a tag in the beginning, but they still allow for uninterrupted listening and even demo recording. And the way I see it, if I'm asking for a rapper's hard-earned money for a beat I made, I should make it easy for them to connect with the beat on an artistic level first. I shouldn't just ask for upfront money and try to rush them into a sale. I personally don't feel right doing that. Now, producers, here's another conversation that came up: sending stems. The way I look at it, the question of sending stems without payment is the same as sending an untagged beat without payment. I used to feel the same way about sending stems. That felt so final. When you send the stems, you're pretty much giving away all your rights. That's how I felt. But because you own the copyrights to your beat, no matter what format you send the beat out as, you still own those copyrights. You can have the beat available as a free download, still own your copyrights. You can email your beat out as a WAV, AIFF, FLAC, MP3, stems, text file, PDF, or Excel spreadsheet, and you still own the copyrights to that beat. Unless you sign something that says you don't, you still retain that ownership. And a rapper who's gonna steal your beat is gonna steal it whether it's an MP3, WAV, or stems. A thief is a thief. And I think producers have this notion in their head about how dirty the music business is, but that they're gonna outsmart it somehow. Basically by just making up tactics that they've never actually found success using. And with social media, you have the uninformed leading the uninformed and the inexperienced leading the inexperienced. I was challenging a lot of the people saying, send out 30-second snippets that are tagged to major artists. That's how you get placements, because if they really want the beat, they'll get back to you. And I challenged them and said, have you ever gotten a placement that way? Crickets. And so it's frustrating to see everybody exchange bad information and then co-sign bad information when they themselves aren't speaking on something that they have firsthand experience or knowledge of. I keep getting tweeted by a lot of producers the question of, how do I protect my beats if they aren't copyrighted? And that kind of question hurts my soul, because spoiler alert, all of your beats are copyrighted automatically. But a simple search on Google or Ecosia would bring you to copyright.gov. And they have this great FAQ that dispels every copyright myth that the producer community continues to believe and perpetuate to this day, right there for free in plain English. So why don't more of us just do that? We have so many, as a producer community, we have so many questions, so many misunderstandings, and so many assumptions and myths about the copyright process, about copyright law, floating around in our heads. You would think that more of us would just do the research ourselves, not rely on tweets or a forum post by somebody that we don't know from a can of paint, that we probably shouldn't trust to begin with without verifying. So if nothing else, if all of my talking about tweet and what my personal beliefs are with regard to upfront payment for beats, hopefully I've just conveyed the necessity to do some research and learn and dispel some of these myths and not fear every little thing about the music business, because that fear of your beats getting stolen, the fear of something terrible happening to you, it's just going to prevent you from doing what you love, because that's going to be hanging over your head. You're not going to send beats out. You're not going to get in the studio with people. And if you do, you're going to be that weirdo that's always focused on the money, that's always focused on the agreements. That's not how it works. I'm sorry to say, you don't get in the studio with a Jay-Z and the second he asks you to play him some beats, you hand him a piece of paperwork and say, yeah, but first let's talk business. So on that note, I'm done. Use common sense, learn, apply. Don't share information that isn't verifiably true. And I don't know what else. Drink water, get some sun, make beats, be happy, be productive. Much success to you. Peace.